Yeah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين رب العالمين. Yes, Asma, are you there? Okay, the sugar to work meaning. Asma, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So why are you late today?
Yeah, sorry. Slept in. Won't happen again.
Okay. Where is the Quran? Okay, there it is. I'm going to open from here because the other one is busy, my device. What happened here? Oh, hi.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Tabarak is absent today. Is Tabarak absent today? Yes, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Imran and Ilyas are here. Sumayya, where is Sumayya? Where is Sumayya? Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Okay, you can read it كذب. This one. Did we do it? Yeah, we did it. This one. Now this one. Okay, how will you read it? Ilyas, can you read it? Ilyas, can you read this one from here?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Wa'alla ra'ib
What taraib?
watara'ib
What taraibi?
watara'ibi
Try to read this one. You know, this one alif and lam will be dropped. And over here, alif and lam will be dropped. There are two kinds of huruf. One are called Shamsiya and Qamariya. The Shamsiya huruf seen the Shamsiya huruf we don't pronounce the al. For Shamsiya we don't pronounce al, and for Qamariya we pronounce al. Okay. For example, fal. Over here we will pronounce lam fal. We will say fal mudabbirati. But for Shamsiya we will not pronounce alif and lam. Wat taraib. This ta is Shamsiya. This ta is Shamsiya. So we will not pronounce al. Wat taraibi. Wan nashitati. Wan naziati. Was sabihati. Was sabiqati. فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ over here, meme is kamariya. Meme is kamariya. So we will pronounce lam. Fal. And shamsiya huruf, ta, noon, and seen and seen. Ta, noon, and seen are shamsiya huruf. So we don't pronounce al. Al will be dropped. Okay, now try to read Wattara'ibi. Pronounce it. Wattara'ibi.
والترائن
Ibi.
إبي
Wannashitati.
والناشطات
Wannazi'ati.
والنازعات
Wassabihati.
والصابحات
Wassabihati.
والصابحات
Fassabiqati.
فالصابحات
Fassabiqati.
فالسابقات
Falmudabbirati.
فالنبرات
Falmudabbirati. Falmudabbirati.
فالزبرات
Tubla sarair.
طبل سائر
Pamahilil kafirina.
وما كيفرين
Pamahilil
ومخل
kafirina.
الكافرين
Bilkhunnas.
بالخنس
Aljawaril kunnas.
الجوار كنس
Aljawaril kunnas.
الجوار كنس
Ril kunnas.
الكنس
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
بحضرات المستقيم
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
صراط المستقيم
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
اهد الصراط المستقيم
اهدنا
اهدنا
الصراط
الصراط
المستقيم.
المستقيم
Okay. Asma, can you read this one? Asma, can you read it?
والترائب والناشطات والنازعات والسابحات فالسابقات فالمدبرات طبل السرائر فمهل الكفرين
Kafirina.
مخنث جوار الكنس اهدنا الصراط المستقيم
Okay.
مروا
नहीं अब इसको रहने दो. Asma, what is your name? Imran, can you read this one from the beginning?
وال
والترائب
والترائب
والناشطات
والناشطات
والنازعات والنازعات
والنازرات
والنازعات
والنازعات
والسابحات
والنازعات
والسابحات
والسابحات
فالسابقات
والسابحات
فالسابقات
فالسابقات
فالسابقات فالسابقات
فالساقياتي
فالسابقاتي
فالسابحاتي
فالسابقاتي
فالسابحاتي
فالسابقاتي
فالسابقاتي
فالمدبراتي
فالمرياتي
فالمدبراتي
فالأرياتياتي
فالمدبراتي
فالبرياتياتي
فالمدبراتي
فالبياتمراتي
فالمدبراتي
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 فالبرياتي
فالمدبراتي
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 تبلى السرائر
تبلى السيارات
تبلى السرائر تبلى السرائر
تبلى السيارات
تبلى السرائر
ولا إذا
فمهل الكافرين فمهل
فمهد
الكافرين
الكسرين
فمهل الكافرين فمهل
فمهل
الكافرين
القاهدين
بالخنس بالخنس
بالوراسية
بالخنس
بالمناس
الجوار الكنس
الجرية بماس
الجوار الكنس
الجباري
الجوار الكنس
الجباري هناس
الجوار الكنس
والجباري
الجوار الكنس
الفكاري هناس
الجوار
الجبار
الكنس
ملكنا
اهدنا
اهدنا
الصراط
الصراط
المستقيم.
المستقيم.
Okay. Okay. What is your name? Amir, can you read it? Amir, can you read this one? Amir, can you read this one? Amir, are you here? Okay, Amir, can you read it? والترائب والناشطات والنازعات. Amir, are you here? Okay, what is your name? Okay, Amir is not in the class. Walid and Sumaya. Okay. Sumaya, can you read it?
Yes.
Oh, I have lost it. Okay, Sumaya, can you read this one?
وتر وترى
والترائب
والترائب
والناشطات
والناشطات
والنازعات
والنازعات
والسابحات
والسابحات
فالسابقات
والسابقات والمدبرات
فال فالمدبرات
فالمدبرات
مهم.
تبا-
تبلس
تبلس
سرائر
سرائر
تبلس سرائر
تبلس سرائر
فمهل الكافرين
ومهل الكافرين
بالخنس
بالخنس
الجوار الكنس
الجرار الكنس
الجوار الكنس
الجرار الجرار
الجوار
الجرار
الجوار
الجرار
جوار
الجوار
الكنس
الكنس
الجوار الكنس
الجرار الكنس
not جرا جوار
الجوار الكنس
اهدنا
اهدنا
الصراط
صراط
المستقيم.
المستقيم.
Okay, now we'll start Islamic studies. Gracious Quran. We were on page number. We remember the page number? Wadduha. Did we read this one? No. We were reading Al Imran. Prophet Yunus and the story of the Prophet Musa. Surah Al Qasas. We read this one. Surah Al Anbiya. Are we going to start Surah Al Anbiya? Okay, who will read? Sumaya, can you read it?
Yeah.
Can you
This
see?
one, yeah,
Is it too small?
almost fine because I can zoom in.
Can you zoom? Can you zoom by
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, because I'm not using a laptop, I'm using a phone.
No. You cannot zoom.
I can.
Okay, this one. Okay, read it.
This surah was revealed towards the end of the Meccan period and takes its title from the fact that 16 prophets are mentioned in it by name. With
How
brief
many
accounts,
prophets are mentioned? 16 prophets are mentioned in this surah.
yeah,
Okay.
with brief accounts of parts of their history. More space, however, is devoted to the story of Prophet Ibrahim, verses 51 to 73. The surah then talks about Prophet Lut, verses 74 to 75. We also get a glimpse of Prophet Noor in verses 76 to 77. The surah then goes on speak of the prophets Dawood, Sulaiman, Ayub, Ismail, Idris, Dhul-Kifl, Yunus, Zakaria, and Yahya. We also find a brief mention of Maryam, the mother of the Prophet Isa. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. All these prophets advocated and taught the same message, which is now fully contained in the Quran. This surah then proceeds forward to speak about Gog and Magog, Yajuj and Majuj, verses 96. Having spoken about the happy people of paradise and the wretched ones of hellfire, the surah states, on that day we shall roll up the skies, and as written scrolls are being rolled up, and as we brought into the first creation, so we shall bring it forth anew. A promise which we have rolled upon ourselves, indeed we will do it. Verse 104. The surah closes with a call to people to uphold Tawheed, oneness of Allah, prepare for life in the here and afterlife. To Allah's revelation, the Quran, it says,
Okay. Okay. The story of Prophet Ibrahim and Islam. Yes, Asma, can you read it? The story of Prophet Ibrahim and Islam. Asma, can you read it? Asma, can you read
Okay,
the
yeah, I'm
story?
here. One sec. Okay. The story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, verses 151 through 73. The episode narrated here is that of Ibrahim's message to his father and his community. He said to his father and his people, what are these images to which you are so devoted? Mm, The way he put this question is indicative of his sharp sense of what is right and what is wrong. He gave those names and forms their correct name, images. He did not call them deities, gods, or goddesses, thus expressing his disapproval of their worship. When Prophet Ibrahim Islam was given a sense of what is right and considered the action of his people absolutely absurd. His people defended their erroneous part of both practices by saying, we found our forefathers worshipping them. Their answers show that they were in a stone-like inert state of mind that tied them to senseless tradition. They were far removed from freedom of reflection and thinking. They refused to use the reasoning that with which Allah endowed them. Prophet Ibrahim salam said, indeed, you and your forefathers have been in evident error. The act of worship must be based only on certainty, not on unfounded myths. Ibrahim salam enjoyed a state of deep faith and certainty. He knew his Lord, and his thoughts were full of the truth and his oneness or tawheed. He therefore says with certainty, indeed, your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and who has brought to them into being, and I am the witness to this truth. He is the Lord of all mankind, as well as the Lord of the heavens and the earth, a single Lord who alone is the creator of everything. Ibrahim Islam followed this with an announcement to his people that he was intent on doing something to their deities. As verse 57, but he left his intent unclear. He, however, did what he had intended. He broke the idols to pieces, all except the biggest of them. Thus, the idols were the subject to worship, which were the subject to worship, were turned into a heap of small, broken pieces of wood and stones. But Ibrahim alayhi salam left the largest one untouched to see the people's reaction when they found out what has happened. Ibrahim's people came to the temple to find the utter destruction of their idols, except the largest one. They were furious, and once they knew that it was Ibrahim alayhi salam who had done that, they ordered that he should be brought in sight of all the people so that they may bear witness. When he was brought before them, they asked him, "Was it you who did this to our God, Ibrahim?" Ibrahim alayhi salam replied, "No, it was this one." And down, more down, down. The biggest of them who did it asked them if they can speak. Contempt was very clear in its answer, hence there is no need to describe it as a lie and try to find some justification for it, as commenters on the Quran have done. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam simply wanted to say to his people, "These idols do not know who broke them to pieces. All of
Okay, what did you understand so far? What did you
Ibrahim
understand so
alayhi
far?
salam stories that I've read."
Yes, people were worshipping the idols, then what did Ibrahim alayhis salam do? I cannot hear you. Okay, read it further.
All of them
Asma?
are intimate and they have no faculty of recognition. Hence, ask them if
Mm.
they can speak. This shook them into some sort of reflection, but they soon sank back into lifelessness. At this point, and they resorted to tyranny, which also prevails when tyrants are left speechless. They resorted to cruelty. They cried, "Burn him and support your guards." Gods. What sort of gods are these which need the support of their worshippers? They are indeed powerless and helpless. This happened.
I cannot hear you.
This happened in a place known as Ur on the lower reaches of the Euphrates River, not 100 miles from the Arabian Gulf. This was one of the one second. There. This was one of the cradles of human civilization. Their king was Nimrod, whose capital was in Assyria, near modern Mosul. The story goes that they dug a huge pit and filled it with fire, which was so intense that a bird flying over would definitely fall dead. The Ibrahim alayhi salam was then thrown into it, but he prayed to his Lord, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil. Enough for me is Allah and excellent trustee. Almighty Allah ordered that no harm would touch him at all. Fire be cool and a means of safety for Ibrahim. And thus the fire was cool and a source of inner peace for Ibrahim and Islam to enjoy.
Okay. Those who compare Allah's action to those of the human beings are those who ask how this could happen. On the contrary, those who understand the two are widely different in both their nature and mean. They employ do not ask such questions. They do not try to find explanation, scientific or otherwise. Allah's action cannot be subject to human standards and cannot be explained with the limit of human ac- uh, human limitations, limited knowledge. This incident actually took place because Almighty Allah has power over everything. King Namrud and his supporters were destroyed by some divine punishment Allah inflicted on them. Allah saved Ibrahim alayhis salam from the torture prepared for him, while his mm, opponent who schemed against him were the ones who suffered the loss. The Quran described them as the absolute losers. It was the land of Palestine to which Ibrahim al-Islam and his wife Sarah and his nephews Lut immigrated. Allah gave him his son Ishaq and grandson Yaqub. Okay, Prophet Lut verses 74 to 75. Okay, what is your name? Ilyas, can you read it? Ilyas, can you read the story of Lut alayhi salam?
He's coming.
The story of Lut alayhi salam is related to full detail.
The story of Prophet Lut is related in full detail elsewhere in the Quran. Here we have only a brief reference to it. As it emigrated from Iraq with his uncle Ibrahim, Lut stayed in the township of Sodom, where the people were resorted to revolting practices. The guilt, they were very guilty of the loathsome, perverted, um, in the in wait, men with
In
men.
indecency, sexual indecency, men with men, openly without any sense of shame or guilt. Allah poured his punishment on the township and its people. Allah saved Lut alayhi salam and his household with the exception of his wife. Prophet Lut alayhi salam is mentioned in the Quran, Surah An-Nam, Surah Al-Araf, Surah Hud, Surah Al-Hijr, Surah Anbiya, Surah Hajj, Surah Ash-Shu'ara, Surah Al-Naml, and Surah Ankabut, and Surah Safat, and Surah Al-Qamar. In so many surahs, Allah has mentioned their act. Okay. Okay. So, can you read it? Yes, Ilyas.
Yeah.
The Quran mentions the Lut.
The Quran mentions that Lut criticizes people for seeking women as a lawful wives, um, and lusting after men, a hateful tendency never practiced in communities before that. When it became clear that they went beyond convincing and that their conquerors tried to banish them and household from the city, Allah rained upon them a rain of stones and turned their dwellings upside down. The Dead Sea is called Bahar Lut. Verse, I think.
Prophet Noah alayhi salam. Okay, Imran, can you read the story of Prophet Noah alayhi salam? Yes, Imran. Hmm?
What?
Yes, can you read the story of Noah alayhi salam?
Now follows a similarly short reference to Noah and his protection. Again, the reference does not provide details. It simply confirms Allah's response to Noah when he pleaded to him. Prophet Noah lived at an earlier time than Lut, hence the reference. Long before that, in Noah's case, he and his household were also saved with the exception of his wife. As for his people, they were destroyed by the flood, which is described as the great calamity. The flood is described in detail in Surah Hud.
Hud. Hud, Surah Hud. Okay. The story of Prophet Dawud al-Islam. What was the story of Prophet Dawud al-Islam? Okay, what is your name? Sumaya, can you read it?
Okay. The story from there.
Yeah, story of the field over which Prophet Dawud and Sumaya gave judgment is detailed in some reports that two men came to Dawud al-Islam. One of them had a field or vineyard. According to some other reports, while the other had a flock of sheep. Okay, can you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This the field owner said this man's sheep broke into my field at night, leaving it ruined. I think you need to scroll up for them.
Okay. Sheep owner to tend until it is returned to its original condition. Okay.
And then each man returns to then each man returns to the other his property. There's the field's owner will get his field and the sheep's owner his sheep. They would confirm that that was the right judgment and ordered it to be carried out. In fact, both Dawood and Suleiman judged according to their own discretion. But Allah was observing their judgment. He inspired Suleiman to give the verdict that was fairer. Dawood's judgment aimed to compensate the field's owner for the damage done to him, which established that justice. But Suleiman's judgment added to justice a constructive dimension. It was given by Allah's inspiration. It is significant to realize that although Suleiman has been praised here, the wood is not censored. It is possible that the value of the flock done to the crop, and so the wood judged that both judgments were correct. The fact that Suleiman's judgment was more profound did not disprove the inherent justice of the wood's original judgment, or deprive it of its merit. The Surah then moves on to display what was given specifically to each of these prophets. Dawood was famous for his palms. The palms were actually hymns, which he recited in his melodious voice. The words used here are Madawood along with.
Okay. In other words, the mountains and the bird, along with Dawood, were made submissive and compliant. As a result, the mountain and the bird, together with the Dawood celebration, the glory of Allah. The point which emerges from these verses is that when Prophet Dawood al-Islam was reciting his hymns, the mountain echoed with his loud melodious voice, causing the bird to suspend their flight, just as if his voice had cast a spell upon them. When a human being feels their bond with Allah alive in his heart, they feel that the entire universe respond to them. All barriers and impediment separating different kinds of creatures are thus removed. Those who understand such praise are actually those who shed all barriers and separations. Okay. What is your name? Asma, can you read it? Asma? Are you in the class? Can you read from here? Asma, can you read from here? Asma, are you listening? Can you read from here? Okay, Imran, can you read? Imran, are you in the class? Can you read?
Those who understand such praise are actually those who shed all barriers and separations. They are those who return to Allah, their Creator. This notion is further borne out by the hadith reported by Al-Baqarah, which states
Bukhari, Al-Bukhari that states that the Prophet once heard Abu Musa al-Ashari
who had an exceptionally melodious,
melodious voice
melodious
reciting the Quran.
reciting the Quran, and he said to him, "You have been given a beautiful voice like the beautiful voices of the family of Dawood." Thus, one can imagine the power and beauty of Dawood's melodies if Abu melodies.
Musa was such order that the Prophet stood by to listen. Okay. Okay. Can you read it? Yes. Okay.
It is important to note here, however, that the word is
Mizmar, which was
mizmar,
literally meaning the flute.
which literally means flute, and which the Prophet used to refer the voice to the voice of Prophet Dawood. When he recited the Zubur, simply means voice, instruments strictly forbidden, and Prophet Dawood did not have a flute at all. The Quran now proceeds to talk of yet another special gift. Allah gave Prophet Dawood, and we taught him the fashioning of the coat of mail for your benefit to protect you from each of other violences. Will we be grateful? Verse 18. This clearly shows that it was Dawood who invented coats of mail, as Allah instructed him to do. Allah reminds people of His favor to teach in teaching Dawood this skill so as to protect them in wartime. The case of Suleiman was even greater. Verse 81 to 82. The Quranic text here states that wind in their stormy conditions were made subservient to Suleiman, moving at his bidding to the land which Allah blessed. Can you go up a bit? Up. Can you go up? Allah blessed, which was Palestine. This is obviously an allusion to the fleet of sailing ships which brought untold riches to Palestine, the land which Allah has blessed, and made Suleiman wealth provide, proverbial.
Proverbial.
Proverbial. The wind was directed by Allah's will to the rest land in a cycle lasting each.
Okay. Okay. What is your name? Walid? Walid, are you in the class? Walid, can you read it? Asma? Asma? Asma, can you read it?
Yes.
Can you read it?
Wait, how is it Allah that or the will that controls the laws of nature and sets them in motion? Well, we know the laws operating in the universe is very little. It is we who have knowledge of everything. It
I
should
cannot hear you clearly.
yeah.
Your
It should be
voice is so
remembered that
dim.
there is nothing difficult
Your
for
voice is
Allah
so
to
dim.
have it done or put in place, regardless of whether.
Asma, I cannot hear you clearly. Can you close
Sorry,
the
I
mic?
muted. What we know of
Okay.
the laws operating in the universe is very little. It is we who have knowledge of everything. It should be remembered that there is nothing difficult for Allah if He wills to have it difficult for undone or put in place, regardless of whether or not it is familiar or complete. Now, the same applies to making the jinn subservient to the man, such that they dived into the depths of the sea or deep into the earth to bring him some of its riches or to perform to perform other tasks. The use of the word hayatin in the place of jinn contains the hint that they were unbelieving jinn. It was from among these jinn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned the come to Sulaiman alayhi salam to dive into the sea and obey him. Moreover, Allah's messenger, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept watch over them so that they would not escape or rebel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Dawood and Sulaiman. Dawood was tested in connection with the administration of justice, while Sulaiman's test involved a vast wealth and kingdom, but they remained grateful to Allah and His favors.
A test of hardship for Prophet Ayub. Okay. A test of hardship for Prophet Ayub and Islam. Yes.
It is hard to for Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. The Surah now provides us with an illustration of Prophet Ayyub, whose story is of the finest, that centers on a test. Quranic texts mention Ayyub alayhi salam only speak in general terms, giving few details. In this particular place, verses 83 through 84, the Surah mentions Ayyub's supplication and Allah's response. This is because the overall atmosphere of the Surah is one of grace bestowed from Allah under the prophets and the care he took of them when he tested them. This applies in all test situations, including rejection by their peoples, as with Ibrahim, Lut, and Nuh alayhi salam. uh, Power and wealth as with Dawood and Sulaiman, or affliction as with Ayub. Ayub's supplication was addressed not to go beyond describing his condition and emphasizing Allah's attributes of mercy. He does not appeal for his condition to be changed because he wants to remain patient in hardship, nor does he suggest anything to his Lord. He is an attitude of perfect humility for him. And thus he is Allah's ideal servant, neither panicking in a condition of affliction nor expressing frustration at the hardship he suffers. Although he undergoes a test of highest severity, he does not pray to Allah to remove his hardship. Thus he leaves the matter entirely to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he is fully aware that his Lord knows his condition and does not need his prayer. It is important to note that there are various reports about what happened to Ayyub alayhi salam, some of which are clearly exaggerated. Some indicate Some indicate that he suffered an illness that made people run away from him, unable to look at him. This is indeed contrary to what a prophet of Allah is like. What the Quranic text suggests, however, is that he suffered hardship within himself and within his family, and this is enough of a test for anyone. There is also much controversy surrounding who Ayyub
Mm-hmm. Ayub alayhi salam was. Yes, okay. Okay, Sumaya, can you read from here? Okay, your class time is over now. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.